And our U.S. political analyst, Eric Ham, who's standing by. Eric, let me start with that event and, sort of your read on what we just saw.
I think it's typical of what we have seen from a Donald Trump event. There's always going to be, I think, colorful images that speak to it. But also, too, that's why you have seen a number of Republicans actually move away from Donald Trump. Because, again, what we're seeing, not only with that, but with the stranded people that were left at the Coachella event, people have just grown weary of the chaos that continues to surround Donald Trump.
All right, let me ask you about 3 weeks until the presidential election here. We know Trump, by the way, today is in Chicago. He's at the Economic Club there. 3 weeks to go here. Very close race, as you know. I mean, really, Pennsylvania is the one state where both of these candidates, Kamala Harris and Trump, have poured so much money, so much attention as well to try and make sure they win the state, because there is this kind of theory that whoever wins Pennsylvania will become the next president.
Yeah, that's right. And Kamala Harris, we know, has made more than 10 stops. I think Donald Trump has done already 14. In fact, the lion's share of their campaign resources have also gone to the state of Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania is clearly the bellwether of this campaign. And they both believe that whoever wins Pennsylvania will win this election, which is why we're seeing them pour so much time and resources and money into the state. Kamala Harris announced her vice presidential candidate, as well as releasing her plan for black men there. We know Donald Trump, of course, has done so much in the state of Pennsylvania also. And this is going to be a state where it touches on so many different issues. You've got rural voters, you've got educated voters, you have large Latino, African-American populations, you've got suburban women. So it's a touchstone for the rest of the country in terms of who you can reach and how to reach them. And I think what we're seeing here is this is now not only just a bellwether, but it's also the gateway to that blue wall that Donald Trump wants to try to tear down, much like he did in 2016 with winning Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin.
Kamala Harris is in Detroit, Michigan today. There is also a nervousness with her campaign about her support, particularly among black men, but also Latino men as well. Eric, what do you think of that?
You know, I'm not really sure where we're seeing this problem for her, because I think perhaps her biggest issue and her biggest worry is, of course, with Arab American voters. We know that back in 2020, Joe Biden won the Arab American vote by 18 points. Donald Trump is now leading with Arab American voters by 4 points. And where that really could come into play is in battleground states like Michigan and Georgia. I do believe Kamala Harris has cut into Donald Trump's lead, particularly with women. We know there's a big gender gap. But again, I think Kamala Harris can make up some of that ground with what she's doing with women in particular. But I do believe, given that this is expected to be a race where we're going to see it won literally on the margins, given the fact that Kamala Harris is losing Arab American voters to Donald Trump, I think that could actually be more telling than what we're seeing in terms of Donald Trump may or may not be doing in terms of gaining headway with Latino and African-American men.
Hey, Eric, always good to see you. Appreciate your time today.
Thank you.
U.S. political analyst Eric Ham there in Washington.